I have felt underestimated constantly in my life for having sweet, cute, girlish facial features. It's only recently that I've learned the secret isn't to fight this, but to lean in. The 7 essence system, first posed by Harriet McJimsey and later developed by John Kitchener, suggests that your facial features create a certain vibe or impression. And the idea is that you echo this vibe in your clothing. Ingenues have small, round, delicate facial features, which look sweet, innocent, youthful, and girlish, which means they're often typecast in roles like young princesses, the innocent girl in the big city, or the loving mum. In today's video, I will show you 9 simple rules for dressing for your ingenue essence, and to help you find the secret to your personal style. My name is Ellie-Jean, I'm a style consultant, and on this channel, we find out style by finding ourselves. 3 reminders before the rules. Number 1, dressing sweet will not make you look younger. When you add some sweetness into your outfits as an ingenue, rather than making you look sweeter and silly, you actually look more mature, more timeless, and more classic, more like you're aware of your own features and you're leaning into that. Reminder 2, there are 2 types of yin or overtly feminine style, ingenue versus romantic. First one is youthful and girlish, and the second one is womanly and sensual. In the book Color Me Beautiful by Carol Jackson, she notes how a lot of ingenues will age and become more romantic or potentially more classic. However, some people do retain their ingenue essence. Reminder 3, you will have more than one essence. I like to focus on your top 3 dominant essences, so bear in mind the following rules with how they might compare to your other recommendations. Number 1, princess-inspired silhouettes. If you're unsure what shapes to wear, think about the traditional princess dress and how you might recreate that. So puff sleeves, sweetheart necklines, flared skirts, corseted waists. What kind of shoes would a princess wear? You might do that in something like I've done today with a sweetheart neckline, round sleeves, but I'm wearing kind of khaki trousers to make it feel more normal and natural. Number 2, round patterns. Round shapes are very important to ingenues because it echoes the round features in their face. For example, polka dot, florals, bows. It doesn't have to be a literal floral pattern, it can be figurative, anything watercolor, anything soft that has a rounded shape, like waves, love hearts, anything rounded. Light and soft fabrics, as opposed to stiff, heavy ones. So anything that flows, that's light, that you could swish around. Think about a little girl swishing her skirt around. Anything in that kind of material is very complimentary. So think silk, chiffon, cotton, even linen, even though that's a slightly more rugged, rough fabric in certain outfits that can have a very ingenue feel because it's very light. Tulle, of course, think ballerinas, which leads me nicely onto number 4, anything that is reminiscent of a little girl's outfit. For example, Peter Pan collars, gingham patterns, ribbons, plaits, pigtails, Mary Janes, kind of ruffle sleeves. If you could see a little girl wearing it, incorporate that into your style. And you can also think about this culturally as well. A lot of those things are reminiscent of a kind of British little girl culture, but think about how little girls are dressed wherever you're from. Number 5, look to women's vintage styles. In history, women were kind of seen as sweet and girly and feminine and delicate and light and gentle, so the styles of bygone eras and days of the past tend to be quite flattering for ingenues. Some of my favorite eras include the 1950s, Victorian era, Regency eras, and anything prior generally has a sweetness to it. 6, whimsical accessories or patterns. Anything cute and sweet, and I'm thinking very literal patterns. So for example, the stereotypical poodle print of the 1950s on those kind of big flared skirts, that's a very literal whimsical print. A 3D bow bag, for example, would also be a literal detail that's very cute and whimsical. Anything 3D that calls to very cute girlish styles is definitely something you could lean into. Something like ice cream earrings, I have a pair. You see what I mean? Like the literal 3D representations of things that are really cute. They have a certain silliness to them that ingenues can just about take. It's more of a thing that is common in gamine styles, but ingenues can just go there as long as the whimsical, literal item is something that's sweet and cute. 7, keep the details small rather than large. Ingenues typically are very sweet. They have small facial features but can get overwhelmed by large shapes. So small, delicate shoes as opposed to chunky, oversized ones, more fitted jackets, smaller floral patterns as opposed to large, lush ones, small sleeves, you get the idea. 8, keep your makeup light and shimmery. So dewy styles, anything a little bit shiny, anything with a little bit of shimmer, lip gloss as opposed to matte. All of this feels very youthful, very girlish. Number 9, aim for curly hair. Curly hair of all different kinds of styles is best. Ingenues are the type which best suits small, delicate, tight curls that you tend to see on little girls. Think very wispy, kind of babyish hair. Short is also best for many ingenues because they have those small facial features, but that would really depend on your body type and the other essences in your blend. Let's say you had a larger body type and you had some of those large influences in your bone structure, but the rest of the features were very sweet or something like that. You might consider curls that are slightly larger. If you have straight hair that will not curl no matter what you do, aim for short, wispy layers. Again, think of little girls that have straight hair. What does their hair look like and how can you kind of imitate that in a more mature adult way? The looks that ingenues struggle to pull off the most is kind of overtly sensual or sexy styles. Womanly fabrics such as velvet, large florals, glamorous details. All of this can feel slightly overwhelming on an ingenue who are more delicate and soft and gentle in their facial features. Also, rugged, rough or heavy fabrics, kind of like the oversized shacket, wouldn't be a great look for an ingenue because it would overwhelm them in density. I had a couple of questions. What if you want to present your ingenue essence in a more mature way? You're not 19 anymore, but you still have some of that sweetness in your facial features, but you don't want to walk around looking like a doll. I think it's important to mention that you don't need to do all of this at once. Leaning too far into little girlish styles like pigtails, collars, florals, lace, ribbons, all at once is going to look very intense on an older woman, or if you're in like an office environment. You know, you want to look more mature. Doing all of that isn't going to match your goals. So remember, you don't have to do everything. 1 or 2 details will be enough to honor your essence without being overwhelming and looking like a caricature. For example, wearing a very traditional office outfit, so like a pencil skirt, heels, blazer, and a blouse, opt for a lacy blouse or one with a Peter Pan collar, and that's probably actually going to be enough in a work office environment to honor your essence in a really subtle way without dressing like a little girl. Or for example, you might wear a floral print dress. That's not going to look overly girly in a professional environment because it's going to be on you, so it's going to look very natural and at ease. Even something as simple as makeup, wearing a little bit of pink in your makeup is probably going to be enough to get that little bit of sweetness across and bring the curls into your hair. If you've enjoyed this video, I think you'll really enjoy the subscriber-only Q&A around ingenues. It's a little bit of extra content which I am delivering to subscribers only. It's going to be in next week's newsletter for paid subscribers, so make sure to check that out. The link is in the description. If you want to subscribe and support this channel, you can subscribe to the free newsletter and get weekly updates from me on style systems, style tips, or you can go the extra mile and get an extra newsletter from me for paid subscribers, which includes a link to a live stream with me every week where we discuss different style systems. We have a book club, workshop. I do regular Q&As on there, so if you want access to me without getting one of my consultations, this is such a great way to do that at only £5 a month, which works out to around £1.15 per week, which is a small investment into improving your style. If you've enjoyed this video, I really think you'll enjoy my video on the 7 face types and the roles they would play in TV and film. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.